Today, I'm gonna tell you about how I accidentally enrolled in a knitting class to impress a TV goddess and ended up in the most awkward gay setup dinner of my life, while somehow learning to make a scarf in the process. I'm Nick, the Stallion, Navarro, but my friends call me Stolly. One day, I might tell you why, if you can handle it. Strap in, puppies. This ride's about to crash beautifully. My puppies, this legendary disaster started on a boring Tuesday, when I was at home doing my usual routine, watching reruns and contemplating whether little Stolly needed some afternoon attention. That's when my phone rang with the distinctive sound of incoming chaos. Captain Cock Block. Stolly, dude, you need to get down to the community center right now. What for? They got this new substitute teacher for some class, and bro, she's absolutely stunning. Like TV goddess material. I'm talking about the kind of woman who makes hours feel like minutes. My puppies, when Captain Cockblock uses words like stunning and TV goddess, Uncle Stolly pays attention. What kind of class? Does it matter? Just get down here and sign up before all the spots are taken. Without asking any more questions, I threw on my best shirt, did my final stallion check in the mirror, breath perfect, stomach sucked in, bulge properly positioned, and headed to the community center faster than a man running toward the last slice of pizza. I arrived at the community center and found the registration desk. There was this older lady with glasses hanging around her neck like some kind of educational necklace. Hi, I'd like to sign up for the class with the new substitute teacher. Oh, wonderful. Sarah is absolutely lovely. Such a sweet girl, and very patient with beginners. Perfect. Where do I sign? She handed me a form without even looking up. I was so focused on the mission that I signed everything without reading a single word. Big mistake, puppies. Huge mistake. Room 12 starts in 10 minutes. You'll need to bring your own needles next time. Needles? What kind of class needs needles? But she was already helping the next person, so I headed to room 12 with growing confusion and excitement about meeting this mysterious TV goddess. I walked into the classroom expecting, honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe an art class, maybe cooking, definitely something where Uncle Stolly could showcase his legendary charm. Instead, I found myself in a room full of elderly ladies sitting in a circle with balls of yarn and pointy sticks. Knitting for beginners was written on the whiteboard in cheerful letters. My puppies, I had accidentally enrolled in a knitting class. Knitting, the most grandmotherly activity known to mankind. And there I was, the only guy under 70 in a room full of sweet old ladies who probably had cats named Mittens. But then SHE walked in. Sarah was everything Captain Cock Block had promised and more. Flowing brown hair, gentle smile, and this wholesome beauty that made little Stolly stand at attention despite being surrounded by enough yarn to carpet a small country. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah, and I'll be your substitute instructor for the next few weeks. She looked around the room, and her eyes stopped on me with surprise. Oh, we have a new student. How wonderful. What's your name? Nick, but my friends call me Stolly. Welcome, Stolly. It's so refreshing to see a young man interested in the fiber arts. Most men are too insecure in their masculinity to appreciate knitting. The old ladies all nodded approvingly and started making comments about how sweet it was to see a sensitive young man. My puppies, I was trapped. I couldn't leave now without looking like a complete disaster in front of this TV goddess. Operation Craft Master was officially initiated, even if it meant learning to make sweaters. Today we're going to start with the basic knit stitch. Everyone grab your needles. One of the elderly ladies, who introduced herself as Gladys, leaned over with a spare set of knitting needles. Here you go, dear. These were my late husband's. He made the most beautiful scarves. Your husband knitted? Oh yes. Real men aren't afraid of yarn, sweetie. For the next hour, I tried to look masculine while stabbing yarn with tiny metal sticks. Sarah would come over to help me, and every time she leaned close, I caught a whiff of her perfume and forgot what I was supposed to do with the needles. You're doing great, Stolly. You have such gentle hands. Most men are too aggressive with their tension. Tension. She was talking about yarn tension, but my brain immediately went somewhere else entirely. The old ladies were incredibly helpful, offering constant advice and encouragement. Gladys kept patting my shoulder and telling me what a good boy I was. Dorothy brought me homemade cookies. Marge showed me pictures of all the scarves her grandson never wore. By the end of the class, I had managed to knit about 3 inches of what might generously be called a scarf. It looked more like a drunken snake, but Sarah was impressed. Stolly, this is remarkable progress for your first day. You have real natural talent. Thanks. I guess I've always been good with my hands. And I didn't lie about that. The old ladies giggled like teenagers, and Sarah smiled that beautiful smile. As everyone was packing up, Sarah approached me with what I assumed was romantic interest. Stolly, I have to ask, are you seeing anyone? My heart jumped. This was it, the moment Uncle Stolly had been waiting for. No, I'm completely single and available. That's wonderful. I have someone I think you'd be perfect for. My puppies, I was so excited, I nearly dropped my pathetic excuse for a scarf. Sarah wanted to set me up with someone, probably her best friend, maybe her sister. This was divine intervention. Really? That's amazing. Yes, my brother Alex has been single for so long, and I just know you two would hit it off. He's sensitive like you, and he loves creative men. Pause for you to process that Sarah thinks Uncle Stallion is gay because he willingly enrolled in knitting class. By the way, if you're enjoying this story, hit that like button. It really helps me keep these coming. Wait, your brother? Oh yes, Alex is such a sweetheart. He's an interior designer, very artistic, and he's been looking for someone who shares his interests. When I saw how naturally you took to knitting, I just knew you two were meant to meet. My brain was trying to process what Sarah had just said. She thought I was gay. She wanted to set me up with her brother, because I could knit. The old ladies were all nodding enthusiastically. Oh, what a lovely idea. Alex sounds perfect for you, dear. You make such a cute couple already. Sarah was beaming with excitement. Why don't you come over for dinner this Saturday? I can cook, and you and Alex can get to know each other. Maybe you could bring that scarf you're working on. He loves handmade crafts. My puppies, I was facing a crisis. I had two choices. Admit that I only joined knitting class to hit on her and look like a complete creep, or go along with this dinner and somehow figure out a way to turn the situation around. Of course, Uncle Stallion chose the path of maximum disaster. That sounds great. Perfect, I'll text you my address. This is going to be so wonderful. She gave me her number, which technically was progress, even though she planned to use it for setting me up with her brother. The next few days were torture. I practiced knitting every night, watching YouTube videos and trying to make my scarf look less like abstract art. I also tried to figure out how to handle this dinner without ending up on a date with Alex. Saturday arrived, and I showed up at Sarah's apartment carrying my slightly less pathetic scarf and a bottle of wine. I had convinced myself that somehow, during dinner, I would find a way to clarify the situation and redirect Sarah's matchmaking efforts toward herself. Sarah opened the door looking absolutely stunning in a simple dress that made little Stallion forget all about the impending awkwardness. Stallion, come in. Alex is already here, and he's so excited to meet you. She led me into the living room, where a well-dressed guy with perfectly styled hair was sitting on the couch. Alex was clearly expecting a date. He stood up with this big smile and gave me a hug that lasted about 3 seconds too long. Stallion, Sarah told me so much about you. I love your scarf. He was looking at my knitting project like it was the Mona Lisa. Thanks. It's still a work in progress. I can tell you're putting a lot of love into every stitch. I do macrame myself. This was getting worse by the minute. Sarah was practically glowing with matchmaking pride. Isn't this perfect? You both love fiber arts. During dinner, the conversation became increasingly uncomfortable. Alex kept asking about my creative process and my feelings about yarn. Sarah kept making comments about how well we were getting along. And you live alone, Stallion? Yeah, just me. That's wonderful. Alex has been looking for someone independent. Sarah, maybe I should mention. Oh, don't be shy. Alex, show him your portfolio. Alex pulled out his phone and started showing me pictures of interior design projects. He had genuine talent, and under any other circumstances, I would have been impressed. This is my favorite project. The client wanted something bold but comfortable. It's really nice. Alex leaned closer, and I could smell his cologne. Maybe I could help you decorate your place. We could spend some quality time together. My puppies. The situation was spiraling out of control. Alex was clearly a good guy who thought he was on a legitimate date. Sarah was pleased with her matchmaking success, and Uncle Stallion was trapped in the most awkward dinner of his legendary career. That's when disaster struck. Sarah excused herself to get dessert, leaving me alone with Alex, who immediately took this as his cue to make a move. He scooted closer on the couch and put his hand on my knee. Stallion, I have to say, I wasn't sure about this whole blind date thing, but you're really special. Alex, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Are you nervous? Because I am too. It's been a while since Sarah set me up with anyone. That's when Sarah returned with dessert and saw us having what looked like an intimate moment. You two are getting along so well. I knew it. I couldn't take it anymore. The situation had gone beyond comedy into pure torture. Sarah, I need to tell you something. What is it? I only joined your knitting class because my friend said you were beautiful and I wanted to ask you out. The room went completely silent. Alex's hand was still on my knee. Sarah was holding a chocolate cake. Everyone was staring at me. You wanted to ask me out? Yes, I have no idea how to knit. I don't even like knitting. I just thought you were gorgeous and figured I'd impress you somehow. Alex finally removed his hand from my knee and leaned back with this confused expression. Wait, so you're not gay? No, I'm definitely not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. Alex, you're a great guy, but I'm straight. Sarah started laughing. Not angry laughing, actual amused laughing. So you learned to knit just to impress me? I held up my pathetic scarf as evidence. 3 weeks of this, my fingers have holes from stabbing myself with needles. Alex was shaking his head but smiling. You know what, Stallion? That's actually kind of sweet. Misguided and completely ridiculous, but sweet. Sarah sat down across from us, still holding the cake. I have to admit, I'm a little flattered and impressed. You actually got pretty good at knitting. Really? Really. And you know what? Any guy who would learn a new skill just to spend time with me deserves at least one real date. My puppies, I couldn't believe it. Operation Craft Master was somehow back on track. But Alex laughed and stood up. Well, this has been the most interesting blind date of my life. Sarah, next time maybe ask if the guy is actually gay before setting us up. I'm so sorry, Alex. Don't worry about it. And Stallion, finish that scarf. You put too much work into it to quit now. Alex left with good humor, and Sarah and I spent the rest of the evening talking and laughing about the whole ridiculous situation. We did end up going on a real date the following week, and it was absolutely worth every minute I spent learning to knit. The old ladies in the knitting class were thrilled when I told them I got the girl. Gladys made me promise to knit Sarah a scarf for Christmas. That scarf, by the way, is still sitting in my closet, about halfway finished. Every time I look at it, I remember the most awkward dinner of my life, and how sometimes the most ridiculous plans actually work out. That's the story, my puppies. Another glorious disaster that taught me the difference between learning new skills to impress someone and being honest about your intentions from the start. Sometimes, the best way to a TV goddess's heart is through completely embarrassing yourself while accidentally learning a useful hobby. Stallion never backs down. Unless it involves three-way romantic confusion and craft supplies. This isn't even the craziest thing that happened to me. So stick around, subscribe, hit the like, and I'll tell you the rest. And hey, got a story you want me to read as Stallion himself? Drop it in the comments. Until the next embarrassment. Nick the Stallion, Navarro.